My wife and I were with some friends over the weekend at an Airbnb we rented out on the lake. We brought food, scary movies, and enough alcohol to kill a herd of cattle. It was a whole lot of fun and something we haven't been able to do in the several years since we graduated from high school. The house was a small 4-bedroom cottage just big enough for the 8 of us. The next house over was a huge old house with no curtains over the windows and a huge porch with 2 swings and several rocking chairs. We immediately wished we could have rented that one. Sunday night, it was really late and we were really drunk, but no one wanted to go to sleep. So, like normal people would, we decided to break into the house next door. We hadn't seen anyone go in or out and there were no vehicles. We reasoned, drunkenly, that it was probably someone's summer home and no one would be there over Halloween weekend. We found a few working flashlights and some extra batteries and snuck out the back door as if leaving the house at night was a crime. For some reason, this was really funny to us at the time. We kept laughing and tripping over each other. Really, it was incredible we made it to the other house without realizing that we were being way too loud to break into someone's house. The glass back door was locked. We all crowded around the doorknob to see if we could get it open. "Look out!" One of the older guys, Rex, held up a flashlight in his hand. Even as drunk as we were, 7 of us realized this was a bad idea. Regardless, Rex chunked the flashlight towards the door and we dodged it. The glass shattered inward. Rex shouted something probably football related and ran inside to pick up his light. Behind us, thunder boomed and the forecasted rain finally came. We looked at each other and walked in through the jagged-edged door one by one. Too late to turn back now. The house was empty. There was no furniture, no refrigerator, the cabinets and pantry were vacant. Even the light bulbs had been removed from the fixtures. Besides the rainfall that was becoming increasingly heavy, there were no sounds. Rex's girlfriend, Lisa, called us out from the kitchen and living room to the staircase she'd found behind a locked door. The door had been locked from the outside as if to keep something inside. Rex, of course, went first. "Come on, pussies." Rex sprinted up the stairs and into the darkness above, waving his light around. "Yeah, pussies." Lisa followed suit. We followed cautiously, making sure to leave no one behind. There were 6 of us at the base of the stairs. Good. I don't know about the others, but that doorknob thing freaked me out a bit. If everyone else hadn't wanted to go upstairs, I would have been game to head back and watch a scary movie. We reached the top of the staircase and immediately noticed the walls. They were wooden, but pieces of pink wallpaper hung loosely here and there as if it had been torn off in haste. The second floor was one big room, similarly without furniture except a bookshelf in the corner. I approached it, hoping to find a selection of Dickens or Austen. There was only one book on the shelf. I picked it up. My hair stood on end even before I could read the title. I pointed my light at the cover. Over top a pentagram with 2 rounded edges, the title read Rituals for Awakening. Lisa came over and took the book from me. "Cool. Rex, come look at this." Then I noticed that there was the shape of a child sitting in the corner. I froze in fear until one of my friends noticed me and followed my gaze. They saw it too. The 2 of us ran and the others followed as if they had been ready to run ever since we set foot in this creepy, old house. We leapt down the stairs and locked the door behind us before leaving the house and heading back to ours in the rain. When we reached our house, I counted to make sure everyone was with us. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I shone my light on the group. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Good. We went inside and locked the door behind us and piled into the SUV we'd taken. We drove until we found a lit parking lot and slept in the car that night. For 2 days, I thought that this whole thing was over. Wishful thinking. Tonight, I found a note on my doorstep. The envelope was sealed with the exact pentagram from the book cover. If anyone is a cryptographer or language person, please tell me what it says. It's kind of freaking me out. I rent a 2-bedroom apartment in the city and have been using the spare room to host Airbnb guests for the past 6 months or so. It's technically not allowed by my body corporate, but I figure what they don't know can't hurt them. Plus, it's nice to have the extra cash when you're a broke college student like me. I've definitely met some weird people through Airbnb since I started doing it. There was the man who insisted I clap 3 times each time I entered the apartment, the woman who left all these takeaway containers of weird, rotting meat when she left, and the elderly lady who tried to get me to marry her grandson back in Russia. But I think my current guest might be the strangest. I think she might be a mermaid. Before you ask, I don't mean I think she's a full-time mermaid. I've seen her walking, I've seen her legs. I'm not an idiot. I just think that maybe it's something she becomes or transforms into. Maybe when she's in water? I don't know. I sound crazy even writing it. I got a message a few weeks back letting me know the room was going to be booked out for a full week. I was excited as this meant less sheet washing for me to do, and I could pretty much chill for that entire time. I received a few questions from the girl who was booking it, but they were pretty normal things. How far was I from the city? What was the public transport like? Did I have a bath? She arrived yesterday morning and everything was good. She was a gorgeous 30-something with this beautiful flowing hair. Like, too beautiful. Like she's in a Pantene commercial. Beautiful. Whatever, hair jealousy aside, she was really nice and lovely. She was from Italy and didn't speak a lot of English, so I felt kind of awkward trying to explain things. She had a small suitcase with her and I showed her to her room before giving her a tour of the house. She seemed happy with everything and said she was going to have a quick bath to wash the plane off her, so I went into my room and did some studying. 20 minutes later, I heard her leaving the bathroom, which was a relief as I really needed to pee. I went in and that's when I saw the first weird thing. I was sat on the toilet when I noticed these almost see-through leaf-looking things on the floor next to the bath. I picked one up and it was super lightweight, kind of like an insect wing, plus it had this beautiful multicolored shimmer to it. I figured it must have been something in her clothes that had fallen out when she'd gotten undressed, and scooped the remainder of them up and popped them in the bin. She spent the morning in her room. I heard her pottering around in there. She was probably unpacking her suitcase since she was going to be here for a week. Then around lunchtime, I hear her go into the bathroom and turn on the bath again. Okay, sure, maybe she's just rinsing something off. Nope, she runs the water for ages, enough to fill up the tub and take another bath. Whatever, some people just want to have a bath to relax after the one to clean, I get it. I headed out in the afternoon and she was still in the bath. She'd been in there for at least 2 hours, but whatever, I figure I'll go get dinner with a friend and then she'll be out when I get back. I get back from dinner and she's in the living room eating sushi. I say hi, then head into my room to drop my bag off. When I come out, she's putting the packaging in the bin, and then she heads back into the bathroom, closes the door, and I hear the bath running. Again. At this point, I'm just so shocked and angry because, she's using so much water and that's just rude. I wish I were one of those people who was good with confrontation, because I would tell her it's not cool. But then she doesn't seem to speak much English, and I don't want her to give me a bad review. Anyway, I went to bed early because I had an exam the next morning. When I woke up, she'd gone out for the day. There was more sushi packaging in the bin. Seriously, who eats sushi for breakfast? And those weird scale things were in the bathroom again. I head off to my exam, and then when I get home in the evening, the bathroom door is closed and I can hear her splashing around in the bath. Well, not really splashing, but you know those bath water sounds that kind of echo around? Those. And then, and this is where things get kind of really bizarre, she starts singing. She has this heavenly kind of soulful voice, and I get up and walk over to the bathroom door to hear it better. But it's weird because it felt like I wasn't in control of my body. Like I was being compelled to get closer to the sound, or whatever. I don't even know, it was weird. She stops, and then I'm just sort of standing there with my ear against the door, looking like an idiot, so I just grab my bag and head out of the apartment. And now I'm sitting in a 24-hour coffee shop writing this up, and I'm not really sure what to do from here. What do you guys think I should do? Am I just totally overthinking all of this? Please, any suggestion would be greatly appreciated. My landlord has been renting out the apartment next to mine as an Airbnb. There are 2 upstairs apartments and 1 downstairs. I live on the top left if you're looking from the street. Mostly we just get people visiting town for music festivals on the weekends, and they're usually up late making noise. I feel bad for the girl who lives below me, since she's up walking her little dog at 6 every morning before going to work. I can only assume the transient tenants keep her up. Thankfully, the room doesn't get much traffic during the week. One exception was this week. We had a couple who stayed for 2 days. Now that I'm writing this down, I realize that I can't remember their features exactly, and I don't just mean their faces. They pulled into the parking lot behind our townhouse at about 7 p.m. on Sunday in a dark sedan with tinted windows. I was sitting on my balcony with my binoculars, bird watching. Sounds boring, I know, but my mom got me into it when I was really young, and I watched them park and get their suitcases from the trunk. I know I got a good look at them, but the best description I can give is this. The man was tallish, maybe somewhere between 5'10" and 6'2", with brown or maybe black hair. He was wearing a white t-shirt and blue jeans, and was one of those ageless guys who could be anywhere from 25 to 40 years old. The woman he was with was similarly bland, with hair that may have been a darker blonde, brown, or maybe even black depending on how the sun hit it. She looked about average height and was as ageless as her partner. She had on a gray dress, or a blue one. I don't know. They were both white, but that's about the only definitive thing I can remember. They spoke to each other quietly as they brought their stuff around to the front door, and she occasionally laughed. It was a bubbly giggle that was somehow shrill instead of cute. I bumped into them on the stairs once or twice during their stay, but we didn't say much to each other. The man tipped the brim of his hat at me the first time we met and said hello. It was a dark baseball cap, like the kind superheroes wear when they're undercover in the movies. On the second evening of their stay, I ran into my downstairs neighbor outside. I asked her if she had met the couple. She furrowed her brow and told me she thought she'd heard them bring in their stuff, but that she hadn't heard anything since. In fact, she said it had been eerily quiet. She can usually hear me walking around, but hadn't heard anything of the lodgers. Maybe they spent most of their time out exploring the city. Her eyebrows were still in a knot. I don't know how long she'd been living there, but I had moved in 2 months before. I had tried to get to know her, but she was never in the mood to chat. She was always home at night and diligent about locking our communal front door. I got the sense that she was a bit anxious and a bit of a loner. Later that night, I went out with friends for a few beers and got back pretty late. The weather's been getting a lot warmer and our landlord hasn't turned on the air conditioning yet, so my apartment was hot when I got home. I opened the balcony door and sat outside with another beer, just enjoying the breeze. It must have been about 2:30. I was a little drunk and I was starting to doze off when I heard a giggle below me. My eyes jolted open, but I didn't move. There were whispers right beneath my balcony. I strained to hear. It was the couple. I very carefully tried to move to where I could see them without making any noise. I could have just said hello, but why were they whispering outside at 2:30 a.m.? Since they were right below me, I couldn't quite see them, but they were at my neighbor's window. I lay down and tried to look through the cracks in the wooden balcony. I looked up and realized I could see their reflection in another house's window, but it was too far to make out clearly. The man had started whispering a bit louder and not in English. Carefully, I got up and grabbed my binoculars from the side table by my chair and lay back down to look at their reflection. The first thing I noticed was that even in the darkness, I could see their eyes really clearly. They appeared to be faintly glowing. The man was still whispering and repeating himself as though it were an incantation. They were both staring into my neighbor's window. He then lifted his hands and tried to open the window. I know I should have been calling the police by then, but I was drunk and terrified. He pushed upward on the window firmly and then laughed. "Clever girl," he said in a fake accent. The woman sighed. "I'm afraid it's locked," he continued. Then he gently grabbed his partner's arm and produced a knife from the back of his jeans. I was breathing shakily and trying to keep steady so they wouldn't hear me. He raised the knife and cut into her arm. He made a long gash from her inner elbow to the wrist, and blood quickly started spilling from it, almost black in the darkness. She touched it with her other hand and drew a symbol on the window in blood. They both closed their eyes and placed one palm on the window. The woman spoke, "And as you have protected yourself against us, you will not be taken this night." She paused, and they both dropped their hands and looked at each other. "But we'll be back." They both grinned, their white teeth bright against the dark. I put down my binoculars and continued to hold still. They got into their sedan right then and drove away. I haven't seen them since, but I've been checking the parking lot for a dark car every day. There was nothing on the window the next morning.